goal for Milestone 3 was to bring Agrabah to an alpha quality in many areas, including world art and the core gameplay. Agrabah can be played from beginning to end with all story and character beats included.
Go now, we should.
It can be accessed through the command line, but work is underway by Avalanche and UFG to make it available from the Kingdom's town.
Jasmine, nice timing, as usual.
As well, the companion AI and cameras are still in development, as are the cinematics in a basic first-pass state.
Great job, little genie guy.
We recorded UFG employees as placeholder voices for all the core Agrabah characters.
Sense doubt, I do. Not being truthful, are you?
Agrabah is made up of 4 key areas: the palace exterior, the dungeons, the palace courtyard, and the interior of the palace itself.
Oh, come on!
Many new expendables, set pieces, background elements, chose and tellable materials have been created for Agrabah, which will later be available in the toy box. Our mission starts after the S-curve, in front of the palace steps. The first interaction between Yoda and Aladdin is in place, as they use their talents to help the player progress through the level. After dropping through the cave entrance, the player arrives in the dungeon and sees a recreation of the art style inspired by the classic film. In this section, Aladdin demonstrates how to use the infinity buttons, which trigger traps and doors.
Don't worry, the switch will open it up.
The main dungeon area emphasizes stealth and trap gameplay. The player can choose to use traps to deal with patrolling guards, or abandon stealth and battle them head-on. If the player triggers the alarm, enemies storm the area and attack the player plus Yoda and Aladdin. Right now, the range enemies are set as droids, but they will be replaced later with a new enemy class we're creating, sword-throwing Agrabah guards. After dealing with patrolling guards, the player must make their way to a key that unlocks the gates and lowers a drawbridge. They have to adjust their speed to slow down or speed up while rail sliding. This is to ensure they're not split in half by the swinging axe traps. Encouraging exploration was an important goal for us, so the player can choose to explore the different pathways of the dungeon, discovering collectibles and finding hidden areas. After making their way to the Sultan, the player must engage in a larger battle against the guards with the help of his companions.
Look out!
After defeating the enemies, the player and his companions stand atop the palace walls, and we get our first look at the Star Wars Imperial forces that have invaded the palace. There, the Temp Jafar model makes a trade with the Empire for their support.
Wait, they've captured Abu! But why is he an elephant?
Beware! Over there, our enemy is.
And there's the scarab! He's trading it for that strange device! We're too late!
The next phase of gameplay requires the player to escort and protect Elephant Abu and make their way to the front entrance of the palace. Tuning of the turrets is still in progress. We've included our first attempt at a new enemy intro sequence, which highlights the character and provides their name.
I forgot my serial number.
After defeating the Imperial enemies and escorting Abu to the gates, Jafar makes the transformation into a giant snake.
Okay, this might be a little harder than I thought.
The player must now do a 3D side-scroller to ascend to the top of the palace while avoiding strikes from giant snake Jafar and counterattacking to open the way forward. The boss fight sequence is at a first playable state and still requires a lot of tuning and polish. It will be completed for Milestone 4. Upon reaching the top floor, Aladdin engages Snake Jafar to keep him busy. During this time, the player must confront a horde of Imperial enemies in order to disable the battery shields to gain access to Jafar's scepter.
No!
Upon defeating Jafar, a cinematic wraps up the action with a charming interaction between the key story characters. At this point, the player will be released into the courtyard to enjoy playground gameplay and side content. There are various levels of secondary content available, but appropriate rewards and polish will be addressed in future milestones. Overall, Our goal for Milestone 3 was to get all of the key gameplay moments and character interactions in place, so that we can collectively review the mission with respect to length of time, size of level, and scope in general. With the companions, we are pushing to make interactions that are unique to them, memorable and charming, while still staying true to their character.
Whoa! Strong in the force, I am.
Nice.